How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Oh man, we are now over halfway through the year. We're just barely halfway through the year, and it's just, again, time is flying, but also feels like an eternity at the same time. I'm rocking my Columbia gear because they're playing today, so keep my fingers crossed. I hope I don't jinx it. But yeah, as always, when it comes to this time of year, Burn and I like to reflect on what movies are looking like so far, what our favorites are, and will they hold up at the end of the year? That's always my question in my head. So this is a spoiler-free review as well. We're not going to really get into it. We're just going to rattle off our top 5 movies, our shows that we've really liked so far, and of course any honorable mentions that deserve the praise but just didn't quite make the cut for us. So yeah, if you happen to like our channel, you like the video and all the movies and shows we've talked about, hit that like button just to show your support. And as always, ring the bell for notifications and just subscribe just to join us and be part of this movement on cinema reviews, whatnot. So, yeah, so Burn and I'm definitely more of a movie aficionado. I would say Burn as well, but he's more versed in all kinds of pop culture, so he's more up to date on stuff than I am. But so we'll start off with movies. Burn, do you want to take the lead, or do you want me to rattle off my top 5 first, or how do we want to do this?
You take it away, sir.
That's fine. Okay, I'll just do my top 5, and starting from 5 to 1, which is 5 being the least best, first being my number 1 favorite. Number 5 came in for me at a movie that we didn't get a chance to review, and I'm very bummed out by it, but it's easily one of the best martial arts movies I've seen since The Raid over like 10 years ago, and that is called The Furious. It's definitely, oh my god, I can't think of all the actors that were in it. The only one that really comes to mind is Joe Taslim from Mortal Kombat, the Raid movies. He was also in Furious, Fast and Furious 6, I think, with the never-ending runway. And it was just some of the best choreography I've ever seen. A very simple story. And yeah, it was a very limited release. Like, it had very few showings, like, everywhere, kind of. Like, I say limited, but it was everywhere, but just very few releases, so it was hard to watch it, but amazing movie. Number 4, of course, is Obsession for me. One of the best horror movies we've had this year. This year is just the renaissance of horror, like the true renaissance, where we've gotten a bunch of horror movies at the beginning of the year, and Obsession just killed it from Curry Barker, and can't wait to see what he's got next. My number 3, if any of you really know me, you should know that it's Hokum. Starring Adam Scott, because that was just such a creepy movie that really just stuck with me right after watching it. Number 2 and 1 were very hard to pick, but number 2 I had to go with 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, the follow-up to 28 Years Later last year. Man, what a movie to start off the year. And it was my number 1 for the longest time until, of course, Project Hail Mary came out, which took my number 1. It was the movie I did not have any sort of expectations, had no idea what I was going into with it, but it charmed me. It warmed my heart. So easily the best movie of the year so far. Hopefully it stays in my top 10, but the holiday season this year looks pretty freaking stacked. But yeah, so that's my top 5 for movies. Bern, what are your top 5 movies so far, my dude?
Well, buckle up, kids, because there's not a lot of variation in my top 5, surprisingly enough. But yeah, I mean, I think the cream of the crop of this year so far has kind of been, not as unpredictable, I think, as I would say, like other years have been, because these movies have just stood out, and they would in any year, I think. So for me, number 5. I did have to change it a little bit. There was an initial different movie I had here at my number 5, but looking at it, it came out in July, so I don't think it makes the cutoff. So I had to flip it out. So for me, my number 5 is going to be The Drama, A24 movie with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. Really fun, but also stressful and an anxiety-filled look at a relationship that gets thrown out of whack after some certain revelations come out, and the way that they play on those interpersonal relationships, along with commentary on American culture and all that. It was really well done, and it was one of the funnest, most stressful times I had at a theater, and Robert Pattinson gives a really, really manic performance, and Zendaya is just always great. So this one I traded out out for a movie that just came out called The Invite, which has a lot of similar things to it, directed by Olivia Wilde. You know, there's a lot of commonality between the two. So if I'm going to cheat, I'm going to put them both here together, The Invite and The Drama. But because The Invite didn't come out until July, it doesn't make the cutoff. So I gotta say The Drama beats it out at this point, but we'll see how it turns out at the end of the year. So yeah, definitely recommend The Drama for people who are looking for an A24 style look at a messed up rom-com. Number 4 is also it's Hokum. The folk horror in this movie was really great. The atmosphere here was fantastic. The way that they set up the look of the inn that you're in, and the way that Adam Scott is an unlikable protagonist, but you're rooting for him regardless. Definitely check out our review for more of our thoughts on that. But yeah, like Rye said, this year for horror has been amazing, and that was a good one to really start kicking it off. And the one that actually I think kicked it off for me was my number 3, and that's 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Nia DaCosta did such an incredible job following up Danny Boyle's movie from last year. Ralph Fiennes and Josh O'Connor, Josh O'Connor, right? Yes, Josh O'Connor put an incredible dual lead performance here.
It was Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connor, yeah. I get him and Josh O'Connor, their names mixed up.
That's very fair. You know, they actually kind of look alike to a certain extent, but yeah, the names. But keep going, Bert.
But the names are very similar. But regardless, I mean, this movie was incredible. The third act set piece was amazing and something I could have never predicted. Just a beautiful follow up to 28 years later from last year. And my number 2 is Obsession. Curry Barker did such an incredible job coming again from the YouTube scene now to the feature film debut. This movie has so much to say. This movie has so much style. Indy Navarrete gives one of the best performances I've seen this year, and will probably be one of the better performances I will see for the rest of the year. Just an incredible movie. It's already like one of the most highest grossing movies in terms of like its budget. Of all time, and yeah, it's deservedly so, because this is just one of the best directorial debuts that I've seen, and one of the best horror movies I've seen in a very, very long time. I mean, there's been a lot of good ones this year, but this one for me just takes the cake, because wow, what they pulled off was incredible. And my number 1, not a surprise, Project Hail Mary. I thought this movie was beautiful in many senses of the word. The way it looked, the way it, the way it was shot, the visual effects, the music, the story, the camaraderie and hope at the center of it. Ryan Gosling's performance. What can you say about this movie that hasn't been said already? It's my easy number 1. It's such a great film. It's now available on streaming, so maybe more people will get to see it that didn't get to in the theater. And if you haven't, definitely check it out, because it's a movie that you have to watch. If you missed it in theaters, you just have to watch it any way you can, because it's incredible from beginning to end.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is coming back for re-release, so if you didn't catch it the first time, when you hear about it, definitely check it out. And then real quick for honorable mentions before we move on to our favorite, top 5 shows. I'm just gonna rattle them off real quick. These ones I think were very solid movies that just, they're great, but just not my top 5 great. And that is Hoppers, Over Your Dead Body, which is another movie we didn't get to review, but was hilarious, so I definitely recommend that one. Toy Story 5, of course, because it's Pixar and Disney. You can't miss out on that. The Drama was solid, so cringy, but great in an amazing way, and also makes me appreciate Eddington more, because they're both movies that have a lot of commentary on the way Americans handle certain stuff, and depending on the topic, whether it be the pandemic or gun violence. So those are great. Devil Wears Prada 2, because I finally watched Devil Wears Prada, so I get it now. Send Help with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, who was my, high school alumnus. Amazing horror movie, very funny, but also very, thrilling and whatnot. So that was a lot of fun. And Punisher: One Last Kill, because he's one of my favorite characters in comic books, and seeing that play out, even though it was so short, it makes me want more. So I have to give shout out to those. But what about you, Bern? What are your honorable mentions that you just you just couldn't give the top five to.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be Hoppers and Toy Story 5. Both really good Pixar movies. I think I would give the edge personally to Hoppers, just because that movie offered a lot more new things for me personally. But and also I think Hoppers is one of the funniest Pixar movies that they've made, right up there with Monsters Inc. So really enjoyed my time with that one. And then Toy Story 5 was just a touching movie. Really good. So those two for sure. Crime 101 from earlier this year with Chris Hemsworth, had a lot of fun with that sort of like neo-noir type of, almost like Michael Mann-ish movie. Had a lot of fun with that one. The Backrooms, another, again, horror movie that is just really good. And first-time director again, with Kane Parsons. That was a pretty interesting movie. Again, that's one of those that I didn't delve deep into the lore beforehand, and I'm kind of glad I did because the mystery of it was a lot of fun to experience in the theater. And then Sam Raimi's Send Help. I think the two performances there are great with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, and it's fun to see wacky, more horror centric Sam Raimi back again.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like, Sam Raimi is definitely one of the goats of horror, in my opinion, however you look at it. So, great choices, Byrne. You always have good taste, and I respect that. So, in regards to shows, we're gonna do the same thing. Bottom five all the way up to the top number one. Shows wise, I'm pretty basic when it comes to it, in all honesty. But number five for me is Fallout Season 2. It's one of those shows I've been really looking forward to since it came out. Early last year, which is crazy because I feel like it came out 2 years ago, but time flies. And then number four is Invincible Season 4, which was just, having read all the comics, like as in like an omnibus or compendium form, it's great to finally see it play out and see the little tweaks and stuff that, it's not Kirkman. Is it Kirkman? I forget. Yeah, I think it's Robert Kirkman. That he's made to his own creation, which is great. Number three is The Pit. After watching it last year, and a bummer we did not get to review it as well. Season 2 is just amazing as always, so I'm really looking forward to Season 3. Hopefully they don't make too many casting changes because I love the cast as it is. Number 1 and 2 were again a big struggle, but I had to give the number 2 spot to Daredevil Born Again Season 2, just because that was one of the best comic shows that Disney has put out. And it did not disappoint as well. And then number 1 was one I did not expect to like as much, which is Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Such an easy binge and just such a great story within the Game of Thrones universe that really, again, I think reset the standard for it. House of the Dragon Season 2 is currently going on, and it may hold up that standard in my opinion. We'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out. But yeah, great television this year. I know there's a bunch I haven't watched already, but I'm definitely working on watching my shows on time, at least, because I definitely have that problem where I lag. But what about you, Byrne? What shows really have caught on for you for this first half of the year?
Yeah, starting off with number 5, for me is going to be Invincible Season 4. Love where they're going with that story. This season felt like it had a lot of momentum. Everything from the A plots to the B plots to the C plots were all interesting for me, and I'm very excited to see what happens next in the story because it's moving. The story is really moving, and I'm really excited to see where it all goes as someone who hasn't read the comics. So the wait is going to be long, but I can't wait for next year when the next season comes up because I just want more of this world and this story and these characters. So that's my number 5. Number 4 is Daredevil Born Again Season 2. As a Daredevil fan, I got a lot out of this. I loved it from beginning to end. They were really cooking this season with all the characters and where the story ends. I'm really excited to see what new sort of direction they decide to go with Season 3. So, really love that. And number 3 is The Pit. I think it was a little bit of a drop off from the first season, but not by much. I think what they got right in the first one, having this sort of like frantic, realistic take on ER was very much held in this second season, and a lot of really interesting dynamics going on between the characters. And again, it's just one of those shows that you watch and you're like, wow, how did an hour go by already so quickly? So really engaging TV on that one. And number two is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I think for me, my single most favorite season of any sort of Game of Thrones. I loved it from beginning to end. The story of Dunk and Egg, this more grounded look at this world of Westeros. Just loved it from beginning to end. Just really great character work, and really like small scale personal stories here that kept me engaged from beginning to end, and I loved every minute of it. And then number one is Apple TV's Widow's Bay. A really, really fun show. Again, we're talking about how horror in movies is having a big renaissance. And it's having a little bit in TV as well, even though this is more of a horror comedy. Definitely for people who are interested in either of those two genres should check this show out because it's incredibly well written, incredibly well acted, and well made. Just from a technical standpoint, definitely one of Apple's better shows, and they have a lot of really good ones. So I can't recommend this one enough. Widow's Bay is, I think, is easily my favorite show of the year so far.
Great choices, Byrne. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to what we have for the rest of the year. I think Byrne and I have some great taste in movies and shows. So let us know what your favorite show or movie has been so far this year. We'd love to hear it in the comments. No spoilers, of course, but until next time, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. We got another half year going, so be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.